Following video contains this. Followed by more of this. Viewer discretion is advised.
Destroy that guy with an Uzi!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
Parkour! 16! Parkour! Parkour! No! God!
Your mind be formless, shapeless, like water. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Everything's twofold. Twist joy is pain on the other hand. What happens when no one that you love is the main cause of your suffering? I need you like I need air to breathe. I need you to save me from me. I'm caught in your wave, I'm drifting away. I need you to save me. Please don't let me drown. 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 Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. You need me like you need air to breathe. You want me to save you from me. I know that you're trapped inside this wave. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna save you from me? I can't see you drown. 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 Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe.
Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Easy 1v4, what do we reckon?
Rogue protocol initiated. Rogue striker drone detected. Hostile striker drone detected. Rogue restorer hive detected. Hostile restorer hive detected. Helo is returning to base. Rogue blinder firefly detected.
No way! No way!
Blinder firefly detected. Now detecting contaminated gear.
No way! Easy 1v4. Oh, behind. Give me ammo. Ollie. Ripped. Fucking eat my food. Get fucking shit on.
Rogue status removed.
You know, everyone's running Unbreakable, Adrenaline Rush. You've got to beam through all that shit to begin with. And I mean, like, I get my stacks pretty quick, like 5 seconds in cover. Why am I ball?
An agent needs assistance. Rogue agent neutralized. Agent down. Nearby rogue agent killed.
One be lit.
Serious trauma
Dead though.
detected.
Not bad, not bad.
This mother.
Yeah, time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We played the levels of Letterman, Jocks. Pins on the jacket, the man's abundant. The point of the road was banned and rugged. Hushing, I'm plotting on pants in London. The products are not being scared of some judgment. Gotta stay in the cut you off if you ain't making the cut. Couldn't tell you who the hell is behind us. You start to forget when you stay in the front of it's up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse of who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch. They're staying enough. It's time to receive for all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams. Everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf. What's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited. I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy. You know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We played the levels of Letterman, Jocks. Shout out to Steve. The boy getting love from the harsh critics. Strauss hit me bi-weekly to tell me keep taking it further. You aren't finished and I gotta listen. Ain't son of believing and see that I'm actually breathing and doing it real time. Love to pull an idea out thin air, act on it and profit in real life. If we not aligned, don't present me a dotted line. Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing on nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too. Can't give it a time of $1, so cut her eyes. They get X'd out, but they had the potential to be my ex. I know how to plays, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah. Always showing up, known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scam angle with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressed with the watch. We played the levels of Letterman, Jocks. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The game all out. See the car one flag. Yeah.
Good done. Plum here, g'day champions, how's it going, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. So I finally took some time and checked out the new gear set that we got with title update 16, UMBRA's initiative, and wow, this gear set is actually amazing. It's got a crazy amount of burst damage unlike anything else in the Division universe. I've played around with a couple of different variations in PvP and I think I've come across a winner. UMBRA Initiative is a gear set that will force you to change your playstyle, but that's okay. The crit hit damage on this build, insane. RPM, insane. Survivability, that's right, it's pretty decent. Now it does take some practice to get used to popping in and out of cover because we've not really needed to do that with any other playstyles in PvP before, but I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it. A damage output and survivability is unlike anything else in the game and it's a lot of bloody fun to use. Righto, so welcome back to all you amazing subscribers, and if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, you know what to do, pull your finger out and give that sub button a click. And please everyone engage with this video, a like, a share, a comment, it all helps with the magic and the wizardry of the YouTube algorithm. Doing all this stuff is going to help the channel and our amazing community grow. And don't forget to check me out on all my other socials including Twitch, Discord, Facebook, the works. All the links for that stuff is in the description. Righto then champions, with all that said and done, let's get into the build. 3 reds, 3 blues, no skill tiers, 1.3 million armor. 4 pieces UMBRA Initiative, 1 Seska and 1 piece Overlord. Now I haven't upgraded the shit out of this build because I've been getting a few comments lately saying that my builds only hit hard because I've got level 20 weapons. So I'm definitely going to try and make these types of builds to sit in that middle area to suit as many players as possible. I'm not here to flex in PvP and show you how great I am, I'm just here making build videos that are both fun and effective. So kicking things off, we're going to check out our specialization, and to be honest, you can pretty much use anything you like, but I'm going to be using Firewall. We're going to be unlocking that tactical grip, giving us a 10% crit hit damage under barrel. But the main reason anyone uses Firewall is always that armor kit. It's going to repair 200% of our armor and health over 10 seconds. Firewall's also going to give our teammates a damage increase to hostiles that are within 10 meters of us. This is always handy to help our team out to drop players fast when we're getting pushed. And a super underrated and underused part of Firewall is the perk Bull Rush. We're going to gain 30% bonus armor when performing a cover to cover. This can definitely help counter full status builds if played correctly. Righto, now for the guns, and to be honest, you could pretty much use anything you like, but I'm loving the Carbine 7 with this build. Maxed out, and like I said before, I have upgraded it a few times, but nothing overboard. Most players should be at expertise 12 by now. One of the main reasons I love the Carbine 7 is it's a super stable and accurate gun, and its base RPM is 790, which does go up to 1022 with our gear set buffs.
Oh my god! Wow!
The talent on the Carbine 7 is Optimus. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the mag. It's still one of the best DPS talents in the game if you play it correctly. If you do decide to use Technician rather than Firewall, something like Flatline would work really well here. For the attachments, we've got a crit hit chance sight, the extended mag, that 10% crit hit damage underbarrel, and a crit hit chance muzzle. Depending if I've got someone in the team using the Coyote's mask, I can just simply change a couple of attachments. For the secondary, I've got a tactical vector. Maxed out, but I've not upgraded this one at all. And we've got the talent measured. That 20% RPM boost for the first half of the mag is pretty sickening. The measured RPM buff doesn't actually show up in our stats, but that's an extra 240 rounds per minute. Adding that to the gear set boost gives us nearly 1800 RPM with the vector. And for the pistol, we've got the busy little bee.
You will suffer, as we suffered.
This thing is still pretty disgusting. Each shot to a different target will give you 1 stack up to 10. Each stack will give you a 20% weapon damage increase and activates once you swap the weapon, and it's going to last for 10 seconds. So at max stacks, that's a 200% weapon damage buff. Yuck. I'm trying to get into the habit of using it a little bit more, but you could definitely use something along the lines of the Orbit here. Righto then, now let's check out the gear on the build. First up, we've got the mask, and it's the first of 4 pieces of UMBRA Initiative. The gear set gives us 15% crit hit chance, 30% reload speed, and from the shadows into the light. I know that the 4-piece bonus might look a little bit confusing, but it's pretty simple when you break it down into its 2 parts. Firstly, we've got the damage side of things. While we're in cover, we gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack gives us a 1% crit hit damage buff and a 0.3% RPM boost. Now this buff will only apply once we exit cover. So you basically enter cover, charge up, get more damage and more rate of fire, and then leave cover. Pretty easy. While out of cover, you lose 2 stacks per second when you're moving normally and 1 stack per second when sprinting. Now the second part here is for our survivability. While we're out of cover and in combat, we gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack gives us 0.8% armor regen when it's consumed. Stacks will only be consumed when you re-enter cover. So if my math isn't too shit, that's going to give you 40% of your armor back. So to get the most out of this gear set, you definitely need to play it right and keep jumping in and out of cover. On our mask, I've gone with max weapon damage, crit hit damage, and a 12% crit hit damage mod. For the chest piece, I've gone with the UMBRA chest. We've got max weapon damage, crit hit chance, and a 12% crit hit damage mod. Now, why are we using the chest? Because we're going to get that buff to the talent from the shadows. This will increase the from the shadows stacks from 50 to 100 stacks, and our gains from 10 to 20 per second. So basically, once we're in cover for 5 seconds, we're going to get a 100% crit hit damage buff. I do find that this makes the build much easier to use because you can stay out of cover a little bit longer and still keep the benefits of the crit hit damage and the RPM buff. Now some players might want to use a brand set chest with Unbreakable or Spotter. Cool, no worries, go for it. This is how I've been using it, and the gameplay just shows how amazing it is, even in the hands of someone that's pretty average at PvP. For the holster, it's the third piece of UMBRA. We've got max armor and 12% crit hit damage here. This one's a pretty easy one. For the knee pads, it's the named Overlord, the Fox's Prey knee pads. Max armor, crit hit damage, and that 8% multiplicative damage to targets out of cover. Using these knee pads, we now have 18% damage to targets out of cover on the build, and that's all amplified damage. I did find that it was better to use the Foxes here than one piece of Fenris. For the gloves, it's the fourth and final piece of UMBRA Initiative. We've got max armor and max crit hit damage. Simple. And lastly, the backpack. It's our one piece of Seska for that 10% crit hit chance. Max weapon damage, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and another 12% crit hit damage mod. I just pulled this piece out of my stash. It's a backpack I used on my sweaty PvP build last patch. It's still a beast of a build. If you missed it, go check it out after this one. The backpack talent that we've got is Companion. While you're within 5 meters of an ally or a skill, total weapon damage is increased by 15%. I do favour this over Vigilance because I can mostly control how and when Companion is active by my playstyle and my skills. Now if you did have a Fenris backpack that looked like this, you could certainly use it. At the time of making this build and getting the gameplay, I didn't have one. When it comes to my builds and videos, what you see is what you get. It's not fair to use one build in the gameplay and then show a completely different build in the breakdown. So that's the guns and the gear on the build. What skills do we want to use? Well, something that's deployable that will proc companion would be best. And for me personally, one of the best skills in the game at the moment is the Defender Drone. Not only is it going to proc companion, it's also going to mitigate nearly 13% damage in PvP because we've upgraded it. And the second skill, and probably the best to pair with companion, is the Seeker Mine. The duration on this thing is huge and it's just going to follow you around. It's also handy to stagger your opponents or force players out of cover if needed. Remember, there's always going to be a time that you need to swap your skills around depending who or what you're fighting, so just change things up if you need to. Righto then, fine print time, the stat sheet. With the Carbine 7, we're sitting at 57% crit hit chance and 151% crit hit damage. I know the crit hit chance is a little bit high if I am playing in a team, but like I said before, if I'm in a full team and we're using the Coyotes, I can just swap out a couple of mods. With our gear set stacks, that will also increase our crit hit damage to 252%. And we're also going to have that 18% damage to targets out of cover from our gun and our foxes. And we're just going to have a quick look at our offensive stats. We've got 67% all weapon damage and 30% AR damage. Which obviously this would be increased if we decided to upgrade our weapons more. So yeah, that's the build champions. It's a new gear set and it brings a whole new way of playing to the game. Crazy burst damage unlike anything else in the Division universe, and it's a lot of bloody fun too. So what do you reckon? Are you going to be a champion and have a crack at making an Umbra build for yourself? What modifications would you make? Let me know down below. And like always, show your content creators your support. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. All this kind of stuff really does help support myself and the channel. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, and I will catch you all in the next one. I'm Plum out.